When did you start to think, maybe this isn't? Obviously there were moments early on when you thought, I overdid that. How did that process happen? How does it creep up on you that maybe this is getting a little out of hand?
So I remember clearly the first time I had an inkling that alcohol was going to be a problem for me. And I was something like 16 years old. I was in high school. And I remember distinctly thinking, I am glad I will never be an alcoholic because then I would have to quit drinking. That's the sort of thing I think that only an alcoholic thinks, but I was young enough at the time so that I assumed nothing bad could ever happen to me. I assumed that everyone else in the world was going to die, but somehow I was immune from that thing that everyone else in the history of the planet has gone through. I was going to be the one person who didn't die. And I felt that way about alcohol as well. And then later, when I was in my early 20s, I was 24, I went through my first really serious breakup. My girlfriend at the time, we had moved across the country together. We were living together. And she found out some, let's say, irresponsible behavior on my part. I cheated on her. She found out about this. She came to the coffee shop where I worked at the time. I had started 2 days before, and she screamed, "Fuck you," across the counter, and she hit me in the face. And so that day I lost, my girlfriend, my home, and my job all in one fell swoop. And that was my first sort of come to Jesus moment where I realized something had gone terribly wrong in my life. And so I realized in that moment, I'm sitting outside my house. All of my shit is strewn in the yard because she came home, she threw everything outside. I think she picked that move up from some bad rom-coms. And that's when I had the sort of first realization, like, oh, you have done something truly horrible to someone that you love. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I sort of realized in that moment, like, oh, I have a drinking problem. I'm an alcoholic. And that realization, it came quickly, and it sort of left quickly too, because I rationalized that away. I'm not an alcoholic. I just like to party. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm just young. I'm fun. This is what we do. This is what you do. And I lived in that sort of state of vacillating denial, coming to terms, having these moments of realization, oftentimes after like a bike wreck where, I'm wasted, my knees are skinned, the tooth is hanging out of my mouth, having these realizations, or just the moment of a really bad hangover. And then stepping back into denial, because the scariest thing I could imagine was quitting drinking. Even if the source of all of my problems was drinking, I was completely unable to imagine a life without alcohol, because everything in my life was alcohol infused every sort of aspect of my life.
So what did you fear? Like if alcohol ends for you, what happens in your head? Or did you not even get that far in terms of your reasoning in your head? You're just like, this is so much part of my life, I can't imagine stopping it.
I really couldn't imagine it. But
did it make your life happier? You were happier?
Happier and miserable. The first couple drinks every day were, and the anticipation of the drinking, the anticipation was almost as good as the drinking itself. It's like, you have a craving, and the craving itself, there's almost something pleasurable about it, because if you know that you get to satiate that craving. And so the anticipation was a huge part of my life. And then the first couple drinks, I have this energetic high. I feel social. I'm verbose. I'm at the bar. I walk into the bar. Literally everybody knows my name. One of those situations. I'm with my friends. It's very fun. And then it gets sort of, the high gets weaker and weaker over time. And I spend the rest of the night chasing that high, drinking more and more, trying to replicate the feeling that I got in the first one or two drinks. And I think this is one of the things that differentiates problem drinkers from normal drinkers, is that you're always trying to chase that high. There's this thing they say in AA, one's too many and 1,000 isn't enough. And that's true from my experience.